F1's a popular sport all over the world, but is especially popular in Europe, with millions of people tuning in to watch the thrills of F1's fast-paced races. It's undoubtedly well known. Yet with 2021 coming to a close and 2022 coming, there are new rules coming to the motorsport that even the most die-hard fans might be unaware of. Stick around to learn about these little-known new rules. Cost cap. The biggest change in the new F1 rules is, without a doubt, the introduction of a cost cap. For the 2021 season, the cost cap is set at $145 million and is intended to cover the cost of everything a team might have to pay for over the F1 season. However, the cap will gradually decrease over the next 3 years. It'll drop to $140 million in 2022 and then to $135 million in 2023, where it will stay for the foreseeable future. Fans may be left asking, why introduce a cap? The official reason, as stated by F1, is to bring more competition to the series, allow for a more level playing field, and to help promote long-term financial stability. New car floors. One of the biggest changes to F1 is the changes to the new car's designs. All in an effort to improve the aerodynamics of cars, F1 has said that current car designs produce a flow of dirty air from all the complexities and intricacies of current car designs. One new change designed to help reduce this flow of dirty air is a change to the floors of the racing car. Floors will now have a more triangular, sleek look compared to the boxy and more rectangular look of previous designs, all to reduce the downwards force exerted onto the cars in years previously. Training times reduced. Another new change to the rules of F1 deals with how long drivers will actually train for their races. In the past, the three major training sessions for drivers, Free Practice 1, Free Practice 2, and Free Practice 3, have all been fairly lengthy. The first two training sessions were initially set at 90 minutes each, while Free Practice 3 was limited to 60 minutes. Now, however, all three training sessions are capped at 60 minutes each. This is in an attempt to produce more action time during training sessions, as drivers now have to force more training into their limited minutes to get themselves and their cars into shape for racing. Another aspect of F1 has been changed in the time races will take, with races now capped at 3 hours each. Limits on exhaust. Exhaust systems play an interesting role in F1, as the exhaust systems of these race cars not only remove waste products from combustion from the engine, but they also help with an F1 car's aerodynamics, speed, and overall performance on the track. Now, however, exhaust systems have become a limited use component, with each driver only being allowed to limit 8 exhaust systems per year. Should a driver go past this cap, they will receive a penalty. Besides exhaust systems, engines, motors, turbochargers, and other components are also under a lockdown, with the same penalty applied should a driver exceed the limit. Introduction of new materials. Another new rule, one of the more interesting ones, is the new ability to use new materials in F1. The F1 has recently allowed for the inclusion of flax, linen, hemp, and bamboo within the sport. It's unknown how exactly teams and drivers will incorporate these greener materials into their sport, but however they do, it will be interesting, no doubt. Wind tunnel and CFD's limitations. Wind tunnel and CFD, or computational fluid dynamics, all play a huge role in the development and refinement of any F1 race car. In the past, teams have dedicated a large amount of both time and money to maximize the efficiency of their cars, all for a better shot at winning races. With the introduction of a cost cap, however, limits have been put onto the aerodynamic testing of cars to help further eliminate the costs of F1. The new default allowance of wind tunnel testing is now reduced to 40 runs per week. However, this will vary from team to team, with the new introduction of a sliding scale based on how well each team does on track. Aerodynamic sliding scale. A new game-changing addition to the F1 rules is the introduction of a new sliding scale, which will determine how much time a team gets to dedicate to both wind tunnel testing and CPD. The better a team does at races and championships, the less time they will receive, yet the worse a team does, the more time they'll have. The scale is based on what position a team was at during the previous year's championship before resetting on June 30th to reflect the team's performance during the new season. As with the cost cap, the scale will also change in 2022, with all teams seeing a reduction in their time spent testing aerodynamics minus the teams in 9th and 10th place. By now, you see how drastically different the 2022 season of F1 will be. With some huge historical changes coming to the sport, we will no doubt see a shift in how drivers and teams operate and how athletes do on the track. From the inclusion of a cost cap to a new aerodynamic scale, change is coming. Yet there are still more rules that have changed in preparation for the new 2022 season. Stick around to find out even more. Automatic tire allocation. Although this is a more minor change, it's notable nonetheless. From 2021 onwards, there will be now an automated tire allocation system in place for all teams. For each race, every team is permitted 2 sets of hard tires, 8 sets of soft tires, and 3 sets of medium tires. With this new tire allocation comes a change on when teams are notified as to the composition of the tires. In the past, teams were told 9 weeks out from races in Europe and 15 weeks out from non-European races. Now, however, teams are told 2 weeks out, regardless of where the race occurs. This is in an effort to avoid issues should any last-minute issues arise during the build-up to a race. Increase in minimum weights. A change that was also introduced to help combat excessive spending was the increase in minimum weight for both cars and their power units. In 2020, the minimum weight for cars was 746 kilograms, 1,644 pounds, to 752 kilograms in 2021, 1,657 pounds. Power units, meanwhile, had a minimum weight of 145 kilograms in 2020, 319 pounds, to a minimum of 150 kilograms, 330 pounds for the 2021 season and beyond. This may seem like a strange minor rule, yet it seems to have been introduced to help further reduce cost. In the past, to help cut weight, teams would use exceptionally costly materials. With higher minimum weights, however, the need for and the use of these materials will go down. Lockdown on copying other teams. In 2020, Racing Point caused a fair bit of controversy during a preseason testing with the introduction of their new car, the RP20. The RP20 was instantly compared to the car of the Mercedes team, with many believing that RP had copied the design of the Mercedes car in an effort to improve their own performance. Although RP denied it, F1 took action and implemented a new rule to prevent any such events from occurring in the future. Although teams are allowed to be influenced by the designs of other teams, they are prohibited from reverse engineering an opponent car. Furthermore, any components or parts that were integral to producing a team's car must be freely available to any races or events, rather than allowing teams to create deals to access each other's car's components. Winglets shortened. Another minor change fans can expect to see in the upcoming F1 season is the reduction of the rear brake duct winglets. This, along with the change to the floors of the cars, are all in an effort to help reduce downward force cars experience, which will help contribute to limiting the dirty airflow F1's working hard to eliminate. The bottom winglets at the back of F1 cars will be shortened from 80 millimeters to 40 millimeters, while the top winglets will remain at 120 millimeters. Shortening of diffuser fences. The last change implemented by F1 to reduce downwards force, this new rule will shorten the diffuser fences seen on F1 cars by 50 millimeters. The diffuser fences are the vertical streaks seen on the diffusers of cars, and along with boxy car floors and long duct winglets, all help to create a strong floor seal, which contributes to downwards force. All these design changes will help to cut downwards force down by a significant degree. New tire compounds by Pirelli. Pirelli tires are the go-to tire brand for F1 cars. However, with all the new rules shifts coming in 2022, changes had to be made to these tires, especially with the reduction in downforce. Pirelli is working to create more durable tires that are able to withstand more force and abuse, especially after 3 tire failures at the British Grand Prix. These new tires will be bigger and more robust, as the reduction in downforce will put more strain on the tires. There you have it, some of the new rules that we can expect to see in the 2022 season of F1. From changes in cars design to cost and training limits, it's no doubt that this season will bring about some interesting changes in how drivers and teams operate under these new conditions. What do you think of all these new rules? Do you agree with them? Are there any you think shouldn't be implemented? Be sure to comment down below. Thank you for watching.